popular and recognizable mobile operating system globally because of its security nature. And if you see about its own future, the first we have it's they call to be user friendly interfaces for people who have used to. And the other unique features apart from their security, which includes Siri, which they have an intelligent personal assistant. So they owned or they renowned this product called Siri, which is most popular during the time of establishment, and later there are multiple other intelligence personal assistants has been evolved in the world. But the initial one was being provided by Apple, which is called Siri. And then they had an Apple store where they have extensive selections of high quality app. Then all their apps are properly renowned and all the security measures have been taken. They have implemented a very good protocol in order to publish their applications in their iPhone market. So unlike other, they just don't trust other applications to be populated in their store. Instead, they go with numerous number of security measures in order to protect the user data and also the application consumption of the data which is available in the mobile. And these distinctive features which is contributing a more success to the iOS and in the competitive mobile market. And this is one thing. And the next one we have is like Android. So initially, if you mean the Android OS was being developed by a fellow groups where it was in early of 2000s, and later they have taken this proposal to Google, and then Google have owned this operating system. But initially, it was being developed and designed and planned by a fellow group. And there was a leading person called Lapin who was having the a core principle of developing this Android system, I mean operating system. And later they were given to Google, and Google have officially released on the 2008 of called Android open source market or open source nature. And this extendability which they have provided is like they are very compactable, and they were very having n number of releases or n number of updates, major and minor, with a rapid growth. And they have a very vast ecosystem, and they have a customizable user interface, a user experience, and they also have integrated with their Google services. And later Android continues to evolve its significant step in the market, making it more formidable competitor to the iOS and in other operating systems. And if you see about the features of which provided by Androids are like, they have very customizable user experience, and you have an ability, or you are being sophisticated, or you are being called to do its more of option in personalization. And it is also an open source nature, allows you for extensive device compatibility and encourage a lot of innovations which you can do it. And with a vast amount they also provide, as like Google, I mean as like iOS, they also provide a vast diversity of ecosystem. And their prime product is like integration with the Google services like Map, Gmail, Cloud, Gmeet, and all these stuffs. And they were the one first came up with a functionality called split screen multitasking. And Google Assistant, same like Siri, we have Google Assistant in Android, and which made it more powerful and versatile mobile operating system. So with this, do you have any questions for me from the part of iOS and Android? If no, we can continue with the next one called Harmony. If any, yeah, I'll be here. It's open for you guys to go to questions.
No, sir, we don't have any questions.
Okay, good. I believe that you guys have understood. If at all I'm going very fast, or if you're not able to trace back, yeah, let me know. I'll slow down. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. And next we have is like Harmony OS. So Harmony OS, like it was being initially developed by Huawei company, which was more popular, and the whole market was expecting that what is Huawei going to give. Yes, Huawei was one of the powerful OS if you guys have gone through in the earlier stages. So I have been personally using Huawei Harmony OS, which was seamless, which was so good. But the problem is like you cannot make more of customization there, or you cannot make your own personalization which you wanted to. That was the only biggest drawback which they had. And yes, currently there are few people using Harmony OS, which is not up to the market level, but still people few own it. So this is another alternative OS as they told, and they provide very seamless and efficient cross-device connectivity. So from like cross-browser, they have cross-device connectivity. They were the one first developed a distributed architecture, whereas the other OS and they were following the single structure architecture, single folder. But Hawaii was the one developed an architecture which was distributed across, and they had a lot of collaboration activities. There are a lot of voice recognition, multitasking devices, multi-device control, and picture-by-picture definitions. All these things were be developed initially staged by Harmony OS, but then still they were not able to put their mark in the market yet. So Harmony OS presents very unique approach, but then they have enhanced their connectivity and interoperability, but still they were not success one. If you see about the key features, as I already described in the earlier slide, they have a distributed architecture, seamless collaboration, intelligent voice recognition, multi-device control, and enhanced connectivity and their interoperability. And these features will create a cohesive and your user-friendly experience across all the different devices. But still, their great convenience and their efficiency in their digital life. I'm just telling only the key points. And all we have is Kia OS. So Kia OS, they call Kia or sometimes they call Kai OS. It depends on the origin where they call it up. So this OS was specifically defined for the few couple of years back, where their complete target for 4G connectivity and their app support. But then the world was not evolved with the network of 4G. Even before that, they were planning for a OS to be established for 4G connectivity. With this Kia OS, user have access to essential smartphone functionality on their future iPhone. They were bridging a gap between a traditional mobile devices to the modern mobile devices. So that was their core goal, and it provides very cost-effective and an efficient solution for user who wants to upgrade their mobile experience. And if you see about their own characteristics, they have it is, as I told, they are this OS will be compatible even for very older version of mobile, also the modern mobile which they have. Their OS will be supportable both the way, and making it more affordable. It was very cost effective, and then they have upgraded without the cost of iPhone with the 4G connectivity and your app support and very user friendly interfaces. Kia phone was bridging a gap, as I told. They were offering a simplified and an advanced mobile experience. And if you talk about next OS called BlackBerry, so BlackBerry was the one who have initially developed their own OS for keypad mobiles. I'll still remember this BlackBerry mobile keypad mobile, where they were having each an individual buttons for each alphabets. If you now see the keypad mobiles, we have one button for three alphabets, but then BlackBerry was having 26 buttons plus more, but each of the alphabets carries is different button. So they were the one first who originally designed QWERTY keyboard, which is like QWERTY keyboard, which is focused for keypad mobiles. While it was being declined in a few lakh because of its legacy was not up to the market, and they were influenced by skin. Still they have few problems with their mobile security and their productivity. Well, they were being very good for their own mobile, like BlackBerry. They were owning their own mobile, and for that they were be able to give the OS. But then later, when the market evolves and there are different kind of mobile phones, their OS was not supportable or it was not compatible with the other mobile devices. So that's when they were dropped down, or else they would also be in a good in market. So these are the very common or very popular, I could say, OS which was being available. But right now in market we have only thing which is Android and iOS. ruining the market. The other guys were very slow down, or they were not up to the mark, or they were not able to compete in this market. So these are the high level of OS which is available. Apart from this, yeah, I do know there are a lot of OS, but still I did not wanted to bring all of them together. If you see now, even in India, an IIT student has been developing an OS called Bar OS. So this Bar OS is it is because none of the India no operating system has been owned by India. So India wanted to make its own and I mean own operating system for mobile applications where you can secure all the data. So that is why this bar OS is going on, and yeah, the development of bar OS is completed, and still it is in testing phase, or it is in integration phase, I could say. There are still more testing which is going on, which they are trying to make it compatible across all the devices. And you know that going forward, maybe in the next down to line 10 to 15 years, you can expect India to produce its own mobile devices, for which you will be having bar OS. Maybe the next decade, if you see, we may have the bar OS which is running in all our mobile phones. I strongly believe that that OS is going to rule the life. If you guys are like, is anyone aware of what is bar OS? Are you aware of, is there is an operating system called bar OS developed by ITA student, I mean IIT student?
No, sir.
No,
Yeah,
sir.
not even a single guys know about this. Like I expected that at least one or two from this group will be knowing what is it bar OS and how is it evolving. No problem. Just Google it and try to understand like what is the uniqueness which they are trying to give in the market, and how they have started, who have started, and what is their goal, what is their mission and vision, and all these things. Whenever you have time, yeah, I would advise you guys to go with that. But as part
Okay,
of
sir.
your curriculum, we'll be completely concentrating on your Android. Okay. So for any suggestions or any doubts which you have, or you would you wish me to give any inputs, or would you wish me to give someone any, you wish me to have you made the concepts, or it's all good?
Sir, what do you mean by distributed architecture in phones?
Your voice is not audible, but could you be a bit clear? Hello,
Sir,
Sham.
what do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean by? Ashwin have left the meeting. Well, like, if any other understood what was his question, guys? Yeah, Ashwin, you have joined back. Yeah, please get. Can you
Yes,
repeat
sir.
the question?
Sir,
Yeah,
hello.
yeah, please go ahead, Sham. Yes. If you're not audible, no problem. Just chat. Just ping me a question in the chat box. I'll go through it. Great. So talking about this distributed architecture, no, like if you see in Android and iOS, all of they have some certain layers of contributions. Okay, all these layers have been single structured. Okay, but then in Harmony OS, they have some distributed architecture where you don't have all the layers in a single component. if at all, if you have all the components in a single layer, okay, what happen is if any one layer is not able to communicate, the other following layers will not be able to respond it back. Okay, but in various in distributed architecture, whenever one layer is not able to respond or do its activity properly, you will be having a backup for that particular layer, in which it will be able to manage at the spot of time. So this is what a very brief note on what is distributed architecture. Maybe for the next slide, I'll be showing you the architecture of Android and iOS. By then, I'll make you more clear about what is that distributed architecture. Okay. Was that the same question which Ashwat raised?
Yes, that was the same question.
Okay. So that's the small gypsum of what is it. Okay. You got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Like it, as I told, it's all about different layers associated in some different locations, or which is not interdependent on each other. Even if it is not responding, you have a backup of it. I'll show you that in the next upcoming slides. Okay.
So can we say the fall of BlackBerry OS and so on was only because they lacked the adaptation compared to Android and iOS?
No, it's big, but not exactly, because BlackBerry OS was only supportable to its keypad mobile. They were not still updated their OS for their next version of mobile available in the market. If you see, earlier we were having keypad mobile, and then we got rise to one touchless mobiles. So in that case, they were not their OS were not compatible with the other version, next version of mobiles, and they tried their level best to do it, but then still they are able to what is it, beat to the market. So that is the reason why they have been out from the market.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And next we will be seeing about a short comparison between all these OS. Like we will like, just in this session, you guys are all going to concentrate as a student level. Maybe for the next session, or yeah, probably the next session, all of you will be in a point of that in a developer stage and a professional developer stage. Now you are in a student's phase. So that is why I'm giving all the gypsums. And once if you go to developer phase or a professional developer phase, then you have to still deep dive into few more components or few more attributes to understand which OS you should choose and what should be your goal for the future. Okay. For this is going to be a small what is it, a small kind of brainstorm you can do here. Okay. So here we are going to discuss about future by future slowdown, a comparative analysis of all the leading mobile operating systems. Okay. So I don't want to dive into background and the objectives. Okay. So first thing is like user interface. I believe my screen is visible, but I know that all my fonts are very small, but still I'll try to share this with your staff, and they may be giving it to you. Okay. When you're talking about user interface, Android provides very, like, we are going to discuss only about Android, iOS, and Windows. Okay. So as you know, Android was developed by a group of people, and it was been given to market to Google, and Google is owning it. And iOS, you already know, Apple, and Windows is being owned by Microsoft. Okay. I missed this window operating system, but I'll cover it up here. Okay. So Android provides this more highly customizable user interface, okay, which allows all of you to personalize your devices, and according to your preference, you can change your app size or your icon size and font size, lot more. Like this, you have a lot of customizable, and they produce their own widgets and also their drawer application where you can app draw it. Like you can just pull up that app drawer organization. So Android offers you one very user friendly and intuitive interfaces. Okay. And next, going for OS, I mean iOS. So iOS, it is more popular for its sleek and clean and visual appealing of your user interface. Okay. It has been very simplicity and consistently across all the devices of iPhone, where they make it very easy to navigate and use the applications. The iconic app represents very minimalistic designs, and they do also provide a seamless user experience, but not up to the level of Android. And next, going to Windows. So Windows add their own style of giving your interfaces, where they use a concept called tile based interfaces, so which they call them as live tile. So using this live tile, they will be having many dynamic tiles where you can change your tile according to your preference, and which was very fast to access, which I could say quick access to the applications. And also Windows Mobile offer a visually appealing, and they also provide a wide set of user friendly interfaces, especially they were all familiar with Windows operating system. The Microsoft's OS, if you see, it will be more like your operating system which is running on your laptops. Okay, so considering all these features, so there are like 7 to 8 features I have brought up. So out of which, for user interface, it depends. For me, I would be comfortable with Android. For someone who have been already using iOS, they'll not be comfortable with Android. For someone who is being using this Windows phone, they'll be more comfortable with their own set. Like if you personally talk to me, I was been using this Windows Mobile, I mean Microsoft Mobile, when I was like 5 6 years back. I was having one yellow color mobile, which was I believe in the market, the very first mobile which came with red color, yellow color, and green color was Microsoft's mobile. So during that time, I was very comfortable with that OS. As years go by, I've just changed, and now I'm not comfortable with the Microsoft OS, but then we are all comfortable with Android. So this comfortability and personalization depends on people to people. So whom you are targeting, for whom you're targeting, it depends on that group of people to offer an app. Okay. And next is their App Store, and their application ecosystem. So all you know, like for Android, you will be having Google Play Stores, and where you have variety or vast collections of applications, and which includes both free and paid options. The open nature of this ecosystem, which is more and more flexibility in their development and distribution phase. So as a developer, you can develop anything, but what is the core purpose of it? You have to impress the target, or you have to make sure that your product is being a fruitful one, which is being consumed by the others in the market. So as on when you finished completing your development and testing, your next phase is to planning for distribution. So when you go for distribution, then comes App Store, a main principle or a main protocol which to be crossed. So for Google, you can take your application, you can host it, and you can give it to Google, and they'll be reviewing your application for at least 14, minimum 14 days to 20 or a month, even 48 days, 2 months. They'll be reviewing your application completely, all the nook and corners, to understand its security feature and all these stuffs before they promote it to their Play Stores. And same like that, we have for iOS, we have an app store which is renowned, and which they publish only very high quality application. That is why, like when Android users are getting their next version of WhatsApp, but iPhone users will be getting it only after a delay of 1 or 2 months, because of their own reasons of checking all the protocols. Okay. And next you have Windows Phone. They do also have their own market, Play Store they call. Even in that, they're also very keen to produce or distribute only a very known application which is flawless, and which abide all the rules and regulations of their own principles. Okay. And next, coming to your security and privacy. So when we obviously talk about security, yeah, definitely everyone will vote up for iPhone, because iPhone has a huge uh, votes for its security and its privacy. You cannot even take a data out from its mobile. That is where they stand out of the market. They were top in market just because they have a huge security. Okay. And next we have Windows Phone, which is similar to the strong, and which is very similar to their strong and what is it measures which they have taken in the market. So iOS plays a very strict app review, and which ensures very only trusted and secure application to be launched, whereas Windows mobiles are also integrated security features where all the Android applications have been produced in the market or distributed in the market with high level of security measures. And the least we have Android on the other hand has faced they have a lot of security concern till date because they are open in nature, but Google is still trying or continuously meticulously working on the issues to be addressed in prior it's going to the uh, public usage. Yeah. So when you talk about security, iPhone stands first, Microsoft stands second, and the least is going to be your Android. And next we have is performance and efficiency. So so if you talk about performance again, I would say Microsoft plays the last. I mean, plays the first, and second is going to be iOS, and the last is going to be Android. The reason behind Android is lagging in its performances because of its open source and its architectural behavior. But if you see in iOS, the architectural behavior is so sleek and which is very clean and which is very visual effects, or they have very less amount of background applications to be run, and then they have very highly optimized hardware and software. So when you talk about performance efficiency, both your hardware and your software comes into the picture, which we call embedded systems. So here, if you talk about for Android, for iPhones, their software, iOS, and their Android, their own applications, they have very little playing in their performance because of their sleek and clean architecture. Whereas Windows is smooth performance, but it has been limited to their only of their set of what is it, hardware restrictions. If you see in Microsoft, for one version of Microsoft Mobile, only that OS will be supportable. You cannot transfer this OS to the next version of mobile, even if it's their own product they developed or they customize the older operating system for the new one, because the older one will not be compatible for the next hardware which they are going to produce it. And Android is being more diverse in terms of their manufacture, and they can vary in different of performance because of its all of recent and quick updates, which was significantly overall speed and efficiency will get dropped down. Okay. And the next feature will be talking about customization and its own flexibility. So when it comes to customization, I would definitely, or even the market will be agreed to definitely vote out for Android, because Android is it's taking its own lead. So Android users are always allowed to customize their own home screen, where you can change your style of your clock, style of your display. You can convert your, you can have a lot of your widgets. It provides a lot of widgets options where you can bring it up on, and you can install your own custom launchers, and you can have also have a personalized various aspect of operating systems. There are my funny friends when we were in college. They used to take this Microsoft OS and try to put it for mobile phones. We used to take the operating system from Infinix mobile, because Infinix was the mobile at that time. It was very sleek and good in performance. They were trying to take the OS from that mobile and trying to give it for Lenovo or some other different mobiles. And we have done all these experiments when we were in the college days. So this flexibility is being provided only in the Androids, but not in the other products. And additionally, Androids also provide more flexibility in terms of installation of app and downloading the apps from multiple sources. But in OS, you have, which is only limited to your app store. You cannot install an application which is beyond the application store. But in Android, yes, you have. If you have all come across this PUBG game, even if you don't have it in Play Store, we take it from other VPN connection and you just download it and you install it in your mobile. But this is not even possible in iPhone. Okay. So iOS provides very more streamlined and uniform user experience and with a limited customization option. So when it comes for customization, definitely Android stands first. Next is Microsoft, and the last one is going to be iOS. Okay. So when you ask me about what kind of customization you can do in Microsoft is, you can change your design of your tile, you can resize your tile, you can recolor your tile, and there are orientations where you can make it for the tiles. But wherein in iOS you cannot do anything like that. It's more streamlined and it is having an uniform user experience across all the hardwares. And talking about the conclusion, like it's up to you who have to decide between you're going to opt out Android, Microsoft, or OS. But from now we'll be avoiding Microsoft because we know that it's not going to be compatible, and they were not still in the market. They were dropped down the project. So we have only Android and iOS. So yeah, it's your ultimate boil down. So you wanted to either choose Android or iOS, you have to consider all these features which you have discussed. So all these personal preference and your specific need, you have to value our customization and flexibility. Android will go forward. However, if you wanted to prefer an uniform user interface and security and performance, you have to go with iOS. So considering all your priorities and your lifestyle and your desire life of control, you have to make a decision on which mobile operating system you wanted to learn yourself. So if you talk about how do you develop, is like whenever you go for Android, you will be choosing a language of Kotlin or Java, but then when you go for iOS, you have to completely go for Shift. So here there is a break. So if you go for Android, you can only be for Android. If you go for iOS, you can only be for iOS. You cannot. You can be if you are exclusive guy, and if you are most probably industry doesn't happen. One will be an app developer either in Android or in iOS. One cannot be app developing for developer for both the different OS. Okay, so here is your call to decide or to understand what is required, what's your achievement and what's your goal for the future and what's your own aspiration. Depending on that, you will have to choose which operating system would you want to opt out. Okay, with this I'm covering with this a small comparison of all the different OS on basis on different features. So far any doubts here, or you wanted to put some more points which was missed might be. If you are not ready to unmute and speak, at least you can type in the chat box. I want each and everybody to at least raise one single query to understand or to encourage myself to keep me motivated that you guys are into the session and really listening to the session and you're taking something out of this session. I wanted everyone to raise some questions or at least raise it in the chat box.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sham, tell me. Am I pronouncing your name correct? Is it Sham, right? Or Shyam?
No, 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 Shyam, sir. Not Shyam. Shyam, correct.
Ah, okay, Sham. Yeah. Yeah. Tell me a question now.
Sir, you talked about Bahar OS, right?
Which one? Which one?
Bahar OS.
Okay.
Bahar OS.
Yeah.
One being created by our Indian software engineers.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, what's so special about Bahar OS? Like, why create our own operating system with others? Like, wouldn't
So
that be
one.
a security issue that India is creating? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. If you see in South Korea or in South or North Korea, they still don't use any of Google devices because they wanted to keep all their confidential data within their country. They don't want to get it exposed out. But then India is allowing us to use other countries' uh, um, applications, which means they have track of all our details. Say, for example, Google even knows who are you, what do you have, everything. So India wants to stop this by selling its country's data to the other country By now they cannot do it, but at least in the future or upcoming lives, they wanted to put this a brand mark or a benchmark. So they are working on now, so that your country details will not be exposed to the other country down the line, not now. So this could be the primary goal for owning
I
and
mean,
operating.
sir, I mean, like, so what if India itself is collecting our data? How can we be so sure the government is actually not doing anything with our data?
Yeah, your question
What if
is
they actually send it on
not
the dark
properly
web?
visible. I could hear some external noise coming up. You can type in.
So you said either you can only be an developer for an Android or iOS. Is there no common
Yeah.
ground? For example, when we design websites, we mostly use JavaScript and HTML, and it is applicable for almost every device.
Yes, exactly.
So I was wondering if there's any common ground in our to develop for both.
There is a possibility. I don't say there is not at all a possibility. There is a possibility, but you cannot expect your product to be compatible on both. If you see WhatsApp, they are still available in iOS and they are available in Microsoft. They are also available in Android. But for all three, they don't have a same source code. All three different has their own different source code in order to be compatible with their uh, hardware. Okay, so when this compatibility comes a change for a developer, we don't, if the market still doesn't owns a unique or a universal language which can be deployed for all three different hardwares. So that is where Kotlin is working on. So Kotlin is one which is being able to convert your Java code to completely Kotlin code, and that is success. And now they are working on Shift language, which can be completely converted into Kotlin language. So that testing is in progress. So this is what the latest update, which I know, which was happening in the long back of past 6 to 8 months back. So Kotlin was a universal language which they were trying to bring this in market, but it was still not been established. But Kotlin language has a very familiarity in converting a Java code completely to a Kotlin base. So if this Kotlin goes to the market with a success rate, then there is a possibility for your source code to be deployed across all the hardware.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Anything else? All good. Shall we go for the next one?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I could see only Ashwit and Shyam is very active in the call. So what about others? You guys were not interested, or am I not grasping your attendance? Where am I lagging? I want somebody else to raise a question at least by now, because we are almost 24 members and only 2 members is questioning. How about other 20s? Don't you have a question, or you are already aware of what is this and you have already worked on, or what is the current bar? Am I making you all sleep in the very early in the morning? Mail Harrison. Yeah, to answer your query, is there any possibility to develop a no code application development for all platforms? For now, we don't have any such. Maybe we can expect in future, but for now, we don't have anything as your as per your requirement. We don't have anything for now. There are people developing on this, but it is not for the what is it? It is not in the market for now. It is still in their own testing phase or in development phase. Anything else? I wanted to address one more question by now. Thank you. Thank you, Mailerson. Now questions? Are we good to go?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And next we'll have an high level, not much deeper, but we'll have a very high level in understanding the architecture of both Android and also for your iPhone. Okay. For that, what I'll do is I'll quickly open one of image which I have downloaded. First, we'll see about iPhone and then go for Android. Okay. I hope all of you are able to see my screen back, and I've been just sharing an architecture of how iPhone works. Is it visible, guys? Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. So here in iPhone, they have an architecture which consists of four layers. One they call core OS, core service layer, and media layer, and your Cocoa Touch layer. So Cocoa Touch layer, which is being completely used by the customer and which is completely targeted for customer, where you have UI kit, map kit, event kit, game kit, Twitter, and iAds. So in UI kit, you can do all your limited customization for your app, and map kit allows you to play around with the map, and event kit allows you to play along with the calendar, and game kit allows you to perform some games, and Twitter is for social media, and again iAd is for going for your revenue aspect. And next we have media layer, which is going to be an middleware between your Cocoa Touch and your core service layer. So if you see in media layer, like people purchase iPhone for their content device, or people who are working in content marketing, or people who are focusing towards content, they'll be going with media, like bloggers, I would say. So they wanted to have a very clear cut video or image. They want a very pure or very high quality or high definition images. So all these things are, I mean, all the hardware or software applications are associated in this particular layer called media. So here you have GL-Kit framework, and you have your core graphics, you have core animation, and your media player, and also your AV kit. So the main purpose of all these different kits and frameworks are like AV kit is completely used for audio and visual, and GL kit is used to customize or to apply filters, and all the filter options are available. And your core graphics it is allowed to take an high definition or high quality videos and audios as well. And next you have your core animation, which will allow you to have some different anime which you are playing on. And all you know about media layer, which plays a vital role in your audio control, that bass, treble, and all these things. And next you have your core service layer. So most probably Cocoa Touch layer and media layer is going to be same across all the different platforms, wherein they name their layer or the contents in the layer with different names, but on a high level perspective they are similar. Okay, and next you have your core service layer. In your core service layer, you will be having your health kit, foundation, cloud, address book, core motions, your data, storing of these things, and social and your core foundation. So this core service layer and your core OS layer will be most and most primarily focused on your security, performance, and sustainability. Okay, their core goal is going to be play on these three aspects. Okay, so next is your core OS layer. As I told you, have your core Bluetooth, accelerate, security service, external accessories, and your local authentication. So as I told, for the performance, sustainability, and your compatibility and performance, which you have to be very sleek, clear in understanding about your core services. Okay, so this is an like I'm just giving a high level representation of all these. I'm not going to uh, be more deep into it. Okay, because as on when we start writing our Android code, we will be discussing on all these layer, and on upon writing each and every line of your code, it has an impact on of all these layers. Okay, so then I'll be discussing of all these in detail. Okay, now I'll go back to the iOS. If you wanted to know more about its each and every different layers definition, yeah, here you have it. So the key component which we describe here, as I told, that the design of all your Apple iPhone revolves in around an key components of your home screen, app icon, notification center, control center, and the city. So these elements work together to create a seamless user experience that and visually appealing for the good one and optimizing all your Apple applications. Understanding of all these design elements, which is crucial for a developer and a user, like to be fully appreciate of an architecture IP. Now, whatever you have learned on an aspect of student, now you're going to learn all these aspects as a developer. So now, if you wanted to be a successful Android developer, you will be given or you will be thrown a chance to pick up which you wanted to go with. Okay, so now it's your call to choose whether you have to opt out Android or iOS depending on all these factors. So if you start comparing of the architecture from your Android and your Apple, um, Android OS will always follow in more of open source, and Android application which includes certain components which I'll discuss later. We have kernel, Linux kernel, and application framework, and your libraries and API calls, which I'll be discussing in the next slide. And understanding all its similarity and difference between the architecture of developers and users is going to be play a vital role in choosing up your application. Okay, I'll quickly walk you through Android. Okay, this is how your Android will be looking like. Okay, where is it? Fine. So this is an Android which we call manifest, which you will be writing in the upcoming sessions. So this application you'll be writing, and this applications will be in the layer of application, which we call as application layer. Here you store your contacts, and your phone is going to be the hardware device here, and there is a IPC call which is going forward from your contacts to your phone, and Java application framework. So if you see here in the earlier there were multiple layers. There were 4 layers in iPhone, but here they have been customized to just 3 layers. So what happened? The system call between one layer to another layer is going to be reduced. Your timing is going to be reduced, and that's how they targeted to work on their performance. Okay, so this Java framework, which will be containing all your managers and providers, which will always be getting a call or giving a call to the library function. So library is completely an secure socket layer, which is completely designed on the language base of C++. So here you have all your library core methods where you can, which always be in runtime, where you will, it's going to act as a middle layer between your application and your Linux kernel call. This Linux kernel call is going to be the next layer, which is completely designed on C programming based code. Okay, the code base is going to be C, which contains the drivers and the IPC sections. So the IPC section, which is most common in order to establish a communication across the applications. Okay, so we got binder, or you can say like application binding. So for all these purpose, we use this layer. Okay, whatever I'm telling now is of again a high level concept, which is not a deep dive. So within this, yeah, we have a lot of things which will play a vital role. So all you wanted to know is application you write in Java and the libraries are in C++, and your kernels are going to be in your C programming. And just remember all the calls which is happening. So your Android application is also going to sit on top of the application layer, where it is completely dealt with the user. And within the user, you will be having a framework layer, which will always establish the calls to the manager, from where the providers and the service request driver will be sending a call to the next layer called library. From library, all the inbuilt functions which enables you to uh, do some actions or perform your activity which you wanted to do, which will always be happening through a secure socket layer. So which means they play a vital role to establish a secure communication where the data is not getting leaked out. And next you have a modified Linux kernel. In this Linux kernel, you will be targeting on your driver's performance and to maintain its sustainability and its interoperability between the hardwares. Okay. Going back to the slide, I have one part left out. So here you can find out all these things of component which I told. So the core components are going to be your activity manager, content provider, resource manager. Here, if you have seen in this image, I have talked about a manager concept and a provider concept. So there are three different types of manager. The reason behind why I'm deep diving into Android is we are going to work on this Android in the future days. So I'm just targeting more deep into Android. Okay. So within the manager, we have activity manager. This plays a vital role. Well, I'll tell you what is this activity manager when you're writing the code. Okay. And we have content provider, we have resource manager. So this activity manager manages the life cycle between application and handles switching between the various activities. And the content provider will allow you to share your data among the application and your centralized tool to store and access your data. We have a centralized location to store all the data. And next you have is your resource manager, which will be able to manage the application's resource such as image, string, layout, and all these stuffs. So understanding all these core components is going to be a crucial for you as a developer, and you have to ensure that you're building a robust and efficient mobile applications. Having all these three concepts in your mind. If you have gone through your syllabus, you'd have probably learned what is activity manager, content provider, and resource manager. Because as I know, this is going to be a very, very important or a very vital role in writing your code. Okay. And your application layer, if you see the application layer of Android, it's like an user interface, which should be very user facing application, which has to be very sleek and clean visualized. It includes all the components, as I told, like activities, services, and your broadcast receivers and sender, and your content providers. So broadcast is primarily focusing on your network. Content provider is primarily focused on your data which you're going to store. Services is like background access of all the data which you call in. And these components work together to create a seamless user experience, which allowing your apps to interact with your background task and all share your data. And next you have a system layer. System layer in the OS is responsible for managing your overall operations in your device. It includes kernel, device driver, and your system driver. So these components work behind the scene. Whenever you are doing something in the in your mobile, in the background, all these play a vital role. Okay. They play a vital role in ensuring that you have a smooth functioning of your Android device, and it ensure there is no leak in data. And understanding all the system layer, again, it's going to be crucial for us as a developers. Okay. And this middleware layer, it's going to be acting as your this middleware is nothing but your application framework, which I discussed, which contains your libraries and APIs, and these will provide a developer to build your robust and your enriched Android application. Okay. An exterior hardware abstraction layer, which is HA, we call it as HAL. Again, is going to be a crucial. It is going to be an interface between your platform specific driver and your high level software. So this HAL will be having a standard set of APIs. If you've seen in the image, I was sending a system called an API call. So that in that phase, this API call will be performing with which is a part of HAL layer, which is primarily focused to be performed for its performance, compatibility, and its interoperability. Okay. And the last is going to be your Linux kernel, which is going to be your heart of your Android application, or I can say backbone also. So analyzing all your Linux kernel and operating system, which helps the developer to understand its system's stability, security, and its performance. And if you talk about security mechanism, all they have is like permission management, sandboxing, secure boot, and cryptographic algorithms, and your app verification. So all these things play or within your security layer, or there is a security mechanism. You can't call it as a layer, you can call it as a mechanism. So this mechanism will ensure that all of them are tested and they are on the market and they are working fine to ensure that there is no risk factor to your mobile. Okay. And the future is going to be the same, and they'll be working more on your app verification sandboxing techniques. Okay. So this is all about your Android. So to make it in a nutshell, that we have discussed today or on the topics of, first we have discussed on evaluation of different application OS which we have for mobiles, and the next one we have discussed on how to choose which is the best one. I mean, in general, we had a different perspective on considering all of the features which is useful for a customer or which is targeted for the audience. From their perspective, we have just discussed on what are the which is stop, which leads to stop, and what. And third, we have seen about the architecture of both Android and iOS. And next, we have deep dived into Android to understand all of its what are the different types of layers we have. Is there any doubts with all of these? Would AI can overcome the human in future? Definitely no. AI cannot overcome a human in future because AI has to be fed with the data. So only human can be helpful in feeding up the data to AI. So AI cannot generate. AI will be able to regenerate or reclaw or reuse the content which is available in its machine. But someone from user perspective has to feed the data to AI. To teach AI, human is always required. So AI cannot work without a human. So obviously AI could not overcome, will not be able to overcome the human in any future. I hope I have answered Varshini's query. Um, any other doubts? No doubts? Any questions? No questions?
No doubt, sir.
Thank you. I believe all of you are sitting inside laboratory, is it?
Yes, sir.
Can I have a small request? Can you all quickly turn on your videos? I just wanted to see quickly who are you. Not for more time, just for like next 1 to 2 minutes. I wanted you all to switch on your videos. I just wanted to. Can I have everyone to enable your video?
Sir, in the laboratory is very PCs. There's no webcam. Because some of us are using the laptops.
Yeah, fine. Go ahead. Like whoever is
So
able
we
to.
use PCs in our laboratory.
Sorry.
So we aren't using webcams. Sir, we are
Okay.
all using PCs, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Fine, no problem.
Oh, okay, fine.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Had a wonderful session. Have a good day. If you have any queries, you just have send out all your queries in an Excel format to Parvati ma'am. I'll be addressing all of them maybe sometime in the weekend. Okay. And the next session is going to be on mobile marketing. So now all of you have decided we are going through Android path, and next we have to think on how would you make a revenue out of this Android application. So that is going to be a next topic, which is called as mobile marketing, and that is going to be the last session for your verbal. And next we'll be going into the projects. From third session, we'll be completely writing or developing an mobile applications. Okay. Later, I'll tell you all these. What's the plan for future? I'll be discussing it with your Parvati ma'am, and I'll come back to you. But for now, next session, I'll will let Parvati ma'am will let you know the dates when it's going to happen. But we'll be going through mobile marketing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, Ashwit and Shyam, to make this class an interactive from the beginning. And thank you, others. And I would really request you to come up with a lot of questions, and I want a lot of interaction among ourselves, so that for the next 7 to 8 sessions, we are going to travel together. So, how long you guys are going to be without going to be silent without talking to me? Obviously, we have to talk at least once in a day. I mean, at least once in a time for the session. So I would request everyone to speak up and try to come up with a lot of queries, so that from next class onwards, I wanted to keep it more and more interactive. Okay? Can I hear okay from every one of you? Guys, come on.
Okay,
Early
sir.
in the
Okay,
morning.
sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.